I am here today with my favorite primers and foundations for oily skin. Now, when it comes to my skin is kind of combo oily. So in the winter, it can be a little bit drier, but now that summer is fast approaching and it's starting to get hotter out, I am a grease ball. So these are foundations that I can use all year round. They can keep my oils at bay, and I can tell you what I like them for. Favorite primer of the moment is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. You can see I have a sticker on it because I'm actually trying to use it up. This primer is incredible. It's so different from any other pore filling primer I've ever had, in the sense that I'm going to squeeze some out for you. You can see it comes out like a lotion, but then it just blends into the skin beautifully. When I first got this, I was actually really nervous because I was like, oh my god, that's going to leave a white cast on my face. But it just blurs your pores. I'm getting a white. It blurs your pores, and it just makes the canvas for foundation beautiful. When it comes to pore filling primers, so many of them are silicone based, and they just feel the same over and over again. But this one is truly unique. So this is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Primer. The next primer I want to talk about is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. This is one of those silicone primers, but it doesn't leave my skin like silk, like oily. I don't really know how to describe it. This is my third tube of this one, and I love it. I go to this whenever I know that I'm going to be needing to wear my makeup for an extremely long time, because this will keep my oils at bay and it will blur my pores. Whenever I use pore filling primers like this, I always make sure to put them in my T-zone, right here and right here. I don't necessarily put them everywhere else. I use my Smashbox primer water for that, but if I know that I need to wear my makeup for an extremely long time, this is the primer I go to. A drugstore option for those primers is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot. This is incredible. This primer, where I was talking about like the silicone base, you can see it's not quite clear. It has a little hint to it, but when this blends into your skin, it just blurs everything so nicely. I wear this one on a day-to-day basis, like if I'm going to work or if I'm just going to run errands or anything like that. That is my go-to day-to-day primer. I typically don't really have that many primers open at once. Right now, all I have are these three and one last one that I'm going to talk about, but it's only because it's a little guy. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. This one, I felt like I really didn't like it at first years ago, but now since then, I've tried it again and I really like it. Again, it has a little bit of a hint to it, and then it just blends in very nicely. Something I've noticed about this one and all Smashbox products, which I'll talk about in a minute, they have a 24-month shelf date. So if you need to get a bigger one, it'll last you a little bit longer. The shelf date on all of these other ones that I just talked about are all 12 months. So the Smashbox one is 24 months. So I'm going to go from lowest to highest coverage in my opinion. So this is the Covergirl Clean Matte BB Cream. I went through 3-4 tubes of this last summer. This is just incredible. For reference, I am an NC 30 in MAC. So if I talk about any shade colors and you know what you are, maybe you can go a shade up, a shade down. This is like not a BB cream. This is a foundation in my opinion. This has really good coverage. I would call it medium buildable. I wouldn't say it would be full, but it's definitely buildable. And this keeps you matte. And this was my surprise product of last year. And I don't necessarily wear it during the winter time, but I'm going to be wearing it again during the summer. And I have it mixed in with my foundation right now. And this is the Covergirl Clean Matte BB Cream. I am in the shade 530 Light Medium. Next foundation I want to talk about is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. This foundation, ever since this came out, this was my tried and true. I went through a period where this was the only foundation I had. I have this foundation in 3 different colors. My typical everyday shade, my kind of tan shade, and my really tan shade. My typical everyday shade is 128, the one that I grabbed right now. It is warm nude. My kind of tan shade is 220, and my really tan shade is 310. This is a full, I could get this to be full coverage. Whenever I use this, I will say though, I have to use a beauty blender with this because if I use a brush, it looks too much on my skin. There are certain foundations that I can use brushes with. There are certain foundations that I have to use beauty blenders with. And this is one that I have to use a beauty blender with. So this is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. Let's stick with drugstore, why don't we? This, I talked about, I had an empties video, my last video. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. This is the Loreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. This is just really, really nice. Whenever I want to make sure that my makeup's going to last a really long time, my Makeup Forever primer and my L'Oreal foundation is my go-to. This doesn't have SPF in it, so it won't give you a flashback, and it's just really nice. It says up to 24-hour wear. I do not suggest wearing your makeup up to 24 hours, but if you know you're going to be out for a long night, this is a very nice foundation to wear. Next foundation I want to talk about is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. This has a SPF of 15 in it. I am in the shade Light Medium Honey in this foundation, and this foundation is so good for summer if you're going to be out in the sun, if you know that you're going to be out all day. This is a natural finish. It's not too matte, it's not too luminous, and I feel comfortable in it without having to blot all the time. The one thing I will say about this foundation, though, is it has really, really bad flashback. So what I mean by flashback is if you have a foundation that has SPF in it, it will create a white cast on your face when using flash photography. So this I do not wear when I'm going to be going out at night and I know that there's going to be pictures of me being taken when they're like flashing, you know? So like I said, I'm in the shade Light Medium Honey in this, and this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Blend Foundation. The last foundation I want to talk about does not have any SPF in it. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. This foundation is just everything. I love this. I hate spending money on high-end foundations because I feel like you can find good ones at the drugstore, so I was very hesitant to buy this foundation for an extremely long time, but I am so happy that I did. This is the other foundation I actually have on my face right now, mixed in with my Covergirl BB cream. I'm a girl who loves to mix foundations. I don't like to just wear one on its own, but this one I know for sure I can always wear on its own. This lasts beautifully on the skin. I also wear this whenever I know that I want to go out for a really long time or if I'm doing errands. This I can apply with a brush or I can apply with a beauty blender or any other sponge I'm using for the day. I'm in the shade 2.2 in this. This is going to be a little light for me in the summer, so I might have to go up to 2.3 or 2.4, but this foundation is everything. There's no oil in this foundation. It's oil free, which is really good for people who have oily skin. That's the thing too. If you have oily skin, you want to try to focus on products that say oil free. So this is the Smashbox Studio Skin 15-Hour Foundation. So those are my favorite foundations and primers for oily skin. These will change from time to time, but these are my current favorites of the moment. And now that we're getting into summer, these are the foundations that I'll be using. So let me know down below any other future videos you want to see. I plan on doing a favorites in every category, like concealers, bronzers, blushes, setting sprays, and everything like that. So let me know what you guys want to see, and I hope you have a great night.